Good day everyone, back with the sooner than I expected because I completely forgot that this was coming up. It's anniversary time here in FGR Global, and you know what that means, GSSR, as well as a new meta support to mindlessly throw rainbow apples in. So our GSSR this time is a game by release date of the servants, but mercifully is split up into different class groupings. So you have the 3 knights, lancer, archer and saber, and then the 4 cavalries with extra. Unfortunately they're combining extra there for some of them. It's a bit of a shame. And there are lots of good little options here. But for us, yeah, that would be the nearest one here. Like, that one's definitely not a bad one. Everything on there. Like, the weakest is Crane, and she is actually a pretty unique support. She's powerful, you just have to actually use your noggin when using her. Most people are allergic to that, unfortunately, so she's not as popular as she probably should be. But you've got Karen there, which is the best quick looper Garen right now, or especially when she gets her MP upgrade. Morgan, of course, she's outstanding. Avenger Ushi can solo the bloody world. Caster Hatoria is the single most broken servant in the entire game. So that's a good one if you don't have many of these. For this account though, all I would care about getting is another copy of Morgan, and the 1 in 5 chance just isn't really worth it. This one's quite good as well. Ibuki is an outstanding AoE buster saber. Of course, this account is has so many of them. Medicine is arguably the single most versatile DPS unit in the game. Definitely couldn't go wrong getting her. Summer Kiara is outstanding, of course. Himiko is a really stout buster support. Can do some really fun crit shenanigans with buster teams. Von Hoff is the same for quick teams. Dorman, of course, is also quite good, both DPS and support wise. Gramps, very stout AoE arts saber, works well with Caster Hatoria. There's lots of good stuff all around. But yeah, for this account, we really can't beat Garen for... This is tempting. I would love to get Melt, a copy of Melt early, but there's just nothing else for this account. It'd be Melt or a second copy of Etchon would be what I'd want, and that's 2 out of 9, 2 out of 9. This one isn't terrible either, but you just bloody know that I'd get another copy of her. You just know it. But I could certainly go for Musashi. MP3 Ishtar would be fine, I guess. Wouldn't want either of those. Those would be duds. And frankly, she would be a dud as well, since I already have her so high MP. This one would be the... Normally I'd actually say, honestly, I wouldn't even... don't even necessarily need her, because the idea was getting a summer event coming along and rolling on it for Summer Okitan and Summer Anastasia. Unfortunately, then they dropped Pity like 2 bloody years early for us. Well, a year and a half early, I reckon. And with it, the extremely botched 4-star banners. So now you kind of just hissing into the wind when it comes to trying to aim for a 4-star if there are any others that are on the same banner, which is just a bloody shame, honestly. It really mucked me over on several accounts. This one in B5, Mysterious Heroine, maybe. But yeah, this one's pretty much best bet at getting something worthwhile, not hitting a dud, because either of these would be outstanding. Ska or Okita. Bride, of course, would be great. She's just really good, and provided I could luck into getting Koyanskaya here, she's the only big time support that I wouldn't have on this account. Brynhilde wouldn't be one of my first choice, but you know, it'd be MP2 for her. She's really good, so I wouldn't be too bad. So the closest things to duds would be Gilgamesh, just because I'm not one of the ones that's over the moon about him. Like, I like him fine. It's just I don't really have need for him because I already have like MP2 Ishtar for AoE Buster Archer. Saber Shiki, honestly I wouldn't mind her. She's unfortunately not spectacular, but she has gotten a couple buffs that's helped her. She's still not spectacular, but she's not dreadful like she was. So I wouldn't mind. She's perfectly fine, honestly, now, after she gets all her buffs. She could probably still use another one, but let's not hold our breath. So yeah, basically the only dud is Gilgamesh, and when you're saying that the dud is Gilgamesh, there's not really a dud. So let's see how we go here. Also, there are 4-star servants to this as well. There's a guaranteed 4-star as well, so this is during the same time period. They're not separated by class though. For this one's the weakest banner in that regard, because I don't think there's a single... Yeah, there's not a single limited 4-star on this. It's all spookables and story locked. There are story locked ones, to be fair. Oh, yeah, that's a new one. Interesting. It's probably the one. Has to be the one that's currently rated out. Oh, bit of you. I'm trying to remember. What this account's Spadavir's MP level was, if I happened to roll on anything that had him on the banner of this account. I'm actually not sure. Well, there's a saver. Okay, there we go. I'm pretty chuffed about that. I really like Okita. It's great to finally have her, because I just kept being unable to find an opportunity to roll for it. Really was a shame. Pretty tickled pink about that. Okay, so what's the 4-star? Going to be another saber. Interesting. Ah, bugger all. Well, it's a rare prism. I think that would, if I didn't dislike Lancelot, then that would be MP4 of him, I believe, on this account. Too bad for him though. I'm not a fan. Wait a minute. It's funny, I thought the rolls were already over on this one. That was probably the last one though. I don't think I miscounted that badly, did I? Okay. Alrighty, let's see if we can't wrangle a naughty little fox, or a fox bunny, whatever she's trying to be. Alrighty, we'll start with tickets. Naturally. Fully expect to not get her. I do not have many rolls, obviously, because Morgan slurped them all up. But she does come back in New Year's, like the middle of January, unless they muck us over, which surely they wouldn't. Rise. She should get another banner in January, so we'll take another crack at it then, if necessary. What is important though is the Buster account getting her right now, because my poor Buster account's been without a decent support since we whiffed on Merlin a while ago at this point. So it's pretty dire need. Of some good stuff. It's interesting how they've changed this banner from JP, because on JP it was a rotating banner. Like Koyanskaya was always rated up, and there were about 3 days or so. Well, maybe I should look at this banner. Maybe they do it on this. Well, no, they can't, because we have pity early. But anyway, they had a rotating banner, so there'd be like 3 days at the beginning and end of anniversary where she was just up solo. And then they would start daily raid ups with Lost Belt servants being raided up with her. So for like, I don't know, go to don't wrong, you had Cedar Knight, you could have gotten Cedar Knight or Koyanskaya, and then like the Valkyries were rated up as well, that sort of thing. But from the appearances here, it seems like they're just having her rated up and just random 4-stars from that list. Like, I think Canis was one of them, funnily enough. Boy, that'd be amusing to get her on these accounts after, when it's the quick account, they would kind of want another copy of it. If anything. There's Borica. She's really underrated now. She's actually really good now in JP. She's gotten so many buffs, and they're all pretty good ones too. And I'll do it. Recently there's been a command card dropped that will inflict Roman trades on the enemies that are hit with it. And that's so that's kind of like another buff to her and Roma as well, really. Medusa. I'm curious if Saber Medusa is going to be the anniversary server in JP. People are pretty fired up about her, as far as I can tell. Also, there's a new version of Kaleidoscope app, affectionately referred to as the Corpse Scope. Or lots. Is it going to be? Yep. Yep. That's alright. That's alright. But the quick account doesn't really have any use for Koyanskaya, or else I would contemplate seeing if I couldn't YOLO another copy of Canis from it, but yeah, kind of need to keep saving on up for, because I need to take, because I'm good Lord willing and the creek don't rise, I'm hoping to snatch a copy of Dolman and Von Orff, and then hopefully get a couple copies of the dear Quickcaster that we have towards the end of the year. But with how my quick accounts rolls have been going this year, I don't know. Don't know. Okay, we're almost to the second bonus roll. There it is. Okay. Let's see. No, this banner is going to go the distance, it seems. But maybe they'll rate up the other 5-star. So wait a minute. All three of the rate, they're all Lancers. What's up with that? Why did you do that? Okay, let's see how this goes. Oh. Okay, he'll be removed eventually. A lot of craft instances, seems like. Guess it's one of those kind of days. Oh yeah, I was talking about Corpscope. It's basically Kaleidoscope, but instead of being full attack scaling, it's full HP. So it's fine on supports, I suppose, but it doesn't really help your DPS very much unless it's your only way to get MP quickly enough. There's actually a really good 5-star craft essence rated up in this event. For Buster units, it's quite good. I obviously don't expect to get a big copy of it on this, but hopefully we do on the Buster account, because frankly I could use it. I'm kind of strangely lacking in decent craft essences. Wow. Starting MP Buster craft essences at least. Either way though, that's going to be helped a bit in October when the Halloween event comes along, because we'll be able to get Aerial Drive. Oh, and there's a first copy of it. Speak of the devil. And Aerial Drive is probably the best overall. You cheeky thing. Watch me end up with 4 copies and not be able to MLB it. I'll be sad. Be quite sad. No. It's an assassin, just not the flavour we wanted. Is that another William Tell? That would have been amusing. Seems like I rarely see him, but then he comes in spurts. Ah, Bazette. Shame we had such poor car and luck. Sorry I won't be able to roll for you next year. We'll have to wait for the year after. I wish they'd fix Medea. Just come up with a new single target caster for 3-star that's not story locked or limited, preferably. It'd be silly the holes that they've left in the roster. actually feel like it's been a while since we've rolled Ushi. Lots of riders, seems like. Not so much in the assassin category. Assassins and lancers, archers or mine. I keep forgetting to check out the one that they've removed and replaced that one with, to see if there's even any count. For some reason I'm under the vague impression that for some reason it doesn't have sure hit on it, which is a shame. RG Medea. Which one is it this time? We have 3 to choose from. Ah, there's Valkyrie. That's my first Valkyrie on this account, really? Huh. I thought she was one of the ones that spooks me quite often. What else do I have her on then? Pretty sure Buster and Art have both gotten at least one copy of it. And Quick has her at MP2. Which is good, because Quick actually will use her. Incidentally, since Valkyrie and Canis are rated up together here, Canis' voice actress is also the voice actress of Pink Valkyrie, as well as Sun Zong. So that's neat. Would have been funny if that was the second copy of Canis though. That would have been pretty nice. She recently got her buff, which is actually a really good buff. Gives her a battery, gives her crit, stars, all sorts of good stuff. That would have been neat if they would have had each of the 3 Valkyries have summoning lines and maybe random which one you get when they're summoned. This is like, oh, thanks, mate. We actually had pretty good GSSR because we got Okita. So that was a pleasant surprise. I'm also not expecting to get Koyanskaya on this account this go around, just because Morgan slurped all the rolls away. But we'll be switching to the Buster focused account after I'm done here. And that's the one that's really open. Now, okay. If it came down to it, I could guarantee get it because I do have enough to hit Pity on that account. I just really don't want to do it because I kind of need to roll quite a lot for Avenger Noru when she comes along. So yeah, here's hoping we have a bit of luck on that account in particular. Oh, they definitely are, mate. Got Koyanskaya here. We've had Morgan and the Fairy Knights. Melusine, of course. Percival. Vortigern's coming along. Sometime or another, whenever they decide that. I think that's a third one of those. Whenever they decide to throw out the finale of Lost Belt 6. I wonder if we're going to get the Mirror Fest before, like JP did, before they do the next part of the Lost Belt. In summer we have Summer Okitan, who's outstanding. Got reruns of Dorman and Von Wolf. And the aforementioned Avenger Noru's coming along as well. Which Lancer is this time? Another Valkyrie. I think that makes MP2 on every account that has gotten a Valkyrie. Now. Summer event, Summer Anastasia is also really good, but unfortunately, since we got Petty early, it really marks us over in trying to roll for her. Or any 4-star. Are Vox any good? Yes, Vox are quite solid actually. Their issue is that Parvati has been in the game longer, so most people that have been playing a while already have her. Funnily enough, I don't. on any of my accounts. But yeah, basically their only issue is that Pravati is a thing, and she's, if anything, a bit broken. Oh, which one's this one going to be? But yeah, they're quite good. You definitely want them. You definitely want them above MP1 though, so they can actually do a little bit of damage. Their MP won't be hitting very hard at MP1, unfortunately, even with like double Scotty buys. But they're very spooky, as you can tell. So, and an MP2 KNS, we take those. Started in February. Nice too. I'm glad new players are still coming along, despite Los Angeles' best efforts. They're still getting new players, I suppose. Cadence is an interesting one in that technically you're not too bad shape missing out on higher MP levels, because the way her kit works and the way she works is she's basically, for all intents and purposes, she's a single target crit Lancer with splash damage on her MP. You can kind of look at it like that, because her crits, if she's got all her buffs to go in, are basically hitting as hard as a single target MP anyway. And then her own MP will do is AoE, so just splash damage. Trust me when I say it used to be a great deal worse. When the game first started, they didn't even have daily quests. So you couldn't go farm experience to raise your servants. You had to depend on whatever experience happened to drop from story fights. Bloody nightmares what that was. They also didn't, since you didn't have apples really back then, and there was no discounts on AP costs for story fights, you just couldn't play very much. You also seemed to not level up as quickly, so you weren't getting refilled AP very fast, so you couldn't just sit there for like an hour and clear through Fuki or something. Okay, there's full. Now I'm going to be sad when I don't get 5th copy of it. I only have like 2 multis left. Oh dear, oh dear. Oh, not 2 multis. But yeah, I don't have 2 multis left. I have 1 multi left after this. 2 counting this one, I guess. Furthermore, you couldn't be carried by friend supports back then too, because everyone was at the same, wasn't even like whale or not, they were in the same boat where you were stuck at really low levels because nobody had any experience. Got Koyan last multi. Nice. She's a good one. She'll be kind of rough skill leveling as a newer account, probably, just because if anything else she just takes a ton of bullets, just a whole lot of them. But since you have pure prisms now, you can at least assuage some of that. You don't end up like grinding at 200 216 odd. Actually, I think it was more than 216 stakes for a rescue goal. I'll need to follow up and need the same amount for Rennes a few months later. Oh dear, that was a mess. Yeah, with skills you just have to pace yourself because you'll burn through your QP really quickly in raising them. The most important thing is to fully ascend and get everything leveled, and then focus on really key impactful skills, namely support ones, batteries, stuff like that. Like Kukulane, getting his protection from arrows up to 10 is really brilliant because he is one of the absolute best servants in the game, and that is a huge reason why. Okay. GSSR is 15, so I'll go ahead and do another full multi, and then I have 7 tickets. That's good, hopefully that keeps up for you. Yeah. It's a rough start now, but once you get your feet up under you though, it'll be a lot smoother for you. And eventually you'll get to a point where you're just loaded with resources and nothing to use them on, if you're not careful. Well, if you play quite a bit each day, at least you'll get to that point. Then you'll get to the point where there's nothing to do, and you might end up making alt accounts like a certain somebody. Hopefully not 5 like said certain somebody has, but who knows, by the time you get to that point maybe they'll finally wise up and add its story replay. If only. If only. The pain here is having gotten a 5-star craft essence, but it being a spook one and not the braided up one. That's the big sad, leaving me on number 4 just like I expected to happen. Oh well. We're getting 10 more summon tickets through logins in like 6 days anyway, so there'll be more opportunities. All is not 100% lost for this go around at it and that craft essence. Okay, we'll do the remaining tickets. Maybe we'll get lucky and just yoink her the craft essence out. That was a raid up one, but not the right rarity. Rock, really trolling me with the Bezet, aren't you? Cheeky blighter. Oh, Robin Hood. I feel like he's been rather shy like Ushi has. Okie dokie. 3 more. And then on to the Buster account. At least that wasn't a 5-star crowd, is it? And here we are. What's it going to be? Well, them's the brakes. Alright, we're going to switch words. Bugger off. We're going to switch over to the Buster account now, so just a moment. Also, viewers. There we are. Ah, bugger. OBS crashed it. Now let's give this another go. Pull it back up. That's hopefully working. Maybe. Okay, you're going to be a good lasting worker. I'm going to have to get the belt. Okay, they are doing this, I guess. Good to know. That little bit of news wasn't up there when I got on earlier. Okay. Oh, incidentally, don't forget to go into the shop and get your free 5-star. Naturally, if you're a new account, you don't have him waver as an outstanding pick and will really help you out a lot. But there's plenty of really good servants there. Enkidu's outstanding, Ozymandias. So there's a great deal of them that's really good. Seedonai is extremely underrated. Also, there's anniversary Mana Prism bonus shop stuff, so you can get 10 tickets there, as well as the 5 monthly tickets, so that could theoretically be 15 more summon tickets for you right there. So yeah, don't forget those, because they are time limited. Now where are we? Where's this bloody fox? There she is. Hello? Head parts. Okay. Let's see how we do here. Thanks for the good luck, Nesha. I think we only got one Berserker on my main account the entire time I was rolling there, and it was Darius. No Kiyohime, no Lubu. Interesting. What? Who's it going to be? Look at you. Honestly, this is the account that I should have gotten you on in the first bloody place, but... I actually forget if I let this play on the other account, couldn't think of it.
やっぱり俺が必要か？仕方ねえ。付き合ってやるよ。
Canis is a really good servant. Do lots of fun solo shenanigans with her, works well in a team, hits hard with her face cards, hits even harder with her crits. Her MP isn't really a slouch either, because she gives herself multiplicative buff, which is by herself because she gives herself MP damage. And you probably have a buster up on her as well from her craft essence, and she gives herself attack, huh? Now she's gotten a really nice little buff. She was already strong without the buff. She has a really stout defensive skill as well. Really heavy damage cut on it. Her summer version that will be coming next year isn't a slouch either. It's just single target buster, rider. There's a whole lot of competition for that. Namely Ozymandias, who's absurd. And the welfare that comes out like the next bloody month. Lizarella is really strong too. Be funny if this account didn't have the Holy Shroud MLBs until now. I do know one of these alts doesn't have it MLBs, but I can't remember. I can never remember which one. Sebron. I'm actually wondering if I can even fully skill out Koyanskaya on this account. I haven't checked my... It would likely be the bullets that are the issue, because she needs a lot of them. A whole heap and more. I know I have plenty of them on my main, but I don't remember what I have. See, there's also the issue on this one that Nober takes quite a bit of them as well, so this account was really bullet heavy in general. Five 4-star servants rolled on this stream, and still no Panda Lancer. That's interesting. Say that now, and she'll get like 7 of her in the next roll. Not even a multi, just a single roll. She's just keep it coming. It's alright. She recently got a buff that was quite good. She's no slouch at all. She's what people used to hype that line up about being... Well, she's closer to what people used to hype this line up about being. Be the kid. That reminds me, we still haven't gotten anything about that cowgirl. I forget who people suspected she was. Maybe Annie Oakley? That kind of sounds right. At the end of Saber Wars 2. But That's been a while now since JP's had the rerun of Saber Wars 2. And she's obviously still not in the game, so don't know what's up with that. Not in the slightest. Is that Caesar again? Yeah. Trying to sell pizzas and salads everywhere. Gilderay. Good luck. Thanks for the good luck, mate. Hopefully so. Honestly, I'd like to save the bulk of these tickets and quartz rolls in general for Venja Nobu, since she's supposed to be our big universal farmer on this account, theoretically. Honestly, looking back, I would have just... oh, another Lancer, who's it going to be? Okay, we take those. Collecting wards for Alvin. Yeah. He's pretty good. Surprisingly, I'm not going for him on any account at all, despite how good he is. I shouldn't need him, really, for one, but also I'm not particularly a fan of just the way he was handled character-wise, I'll say. I won't go into any more detail than that for now, because it would involve spoilers. We've finished the story. I actually have not, on global at least, but I have in the past. Well, that was weird. Janky spin on that. Craft isn't. I am privy to the Lost Belt Seek story, if for what that's worth. No, see, it's those reveals that make me dislike him, honestly, because for one, it's the whole thing's quite janky and was just haphazardly thrown together as an excuse to come up with a new extra class. But it also ruined the chances of a really neat character that they could have had instead, and in fact was in the original version of Lost Belt 6 until presumably Lost Angeles and one of them were like, hey, can we can really milk some wallets with a new extra class, so can we have a little bit of a rewrite here? Yeah, it's like pulling teeth with people that actually want to avoid spoilers. I've never particularly cared. If anything, I would prefer to, when I'm about to watch something or read something, I would prefer to know if there's some shenanigans that I particularly find quite annoying that would happen in it. But yeah, the way they changed some things, it ruined the possibility of getting the real version of a particular character they would be really neat to have in the game, or used, period. Looks like we're striking out on the tickets. Oh, there's a first copy of that on here, I believe. Yes. Am I going to be able to reach bonus with the tickets? Or am I? I should. I should have 4 left over after the bonus. Unless I'm feeling loopy or something. Not out of the question. Okie dokie. Multi-time. Come on, you conniving fox. Don't pull a Merlin on me. Ah, that's still painful. He would have been so helpful for this account to have. Let's pay. That would be none. I am free to play except for on the main, where occasionally I'll get enough to do a couple GSSRs. And nothing more. Did we just get that twice in a row? And honestly, after the after I'm GSSR'd out from the pack that I got, I doubt I'll get another one because account's well established now, so there's no real need for it. Thanks to having all these alts, I'm able to spread out roles for servants that I like and would like to have well enough that I don't really need to squeeze out some crapshoots shot in the dark at getting any of them from a GSSR kind of deal. And frankly, I'm still quite annoyed from the way that the Zingle's been handling things lately. Well, for the past while now. Okay, most recently, they've done some nice things with Ordeal Call, but we're still waiting to see here. Honestly, if they would, yeah, sure enough, 2 in a row. The biggest thing they could do is, for one, get back to doing animation updates, because it's insulting that there's still day 1 servants that are throwing out constables. But the big thing is, bloody add story replay already. It's really silly that veteran players that are caught up in story, if there's not an event going on and they get a new servant, they can't do anything with them. There's nothing for them to do except just sort of throw them against dailies or whatever. You can't really test a servant out like that. You can't. There's no enjoyable gameplay to be found there. So, bloody add story replay. This is like one of the only gotchas around that doesn't have it at this point. This is silly. they can clearly bring the story fights back, as they do it for the anniversary stuff, and okay, that's MP3. We take those. And for those recollection quests, the super recollections and stuff. Although the super recollection things are handled really stupidly as well, because they just overinflate the HP bars to an absurd amount, which actually does lock certain accounts out of being able to complete them, which really is a shame and is not something they ought to be doing. But whatever. You can still do the regular version of the recollection quests, I suppose, when they come along. So I don't think you're not really missing out too much, but it is annoying to not be able to do those. Or all of those, at least. It's just a sad thing where their best work recently, story-wise, gameplay-wise in a story chapter was in Lost Belt 5, specifically Olympus. You had really greatly designed boss fights, like really creative. One issue that I would have, and unfortunately this has only gotten worse from there, is the forced story supports, because people aren't dropping their wallets and their credit cards all over the place to not be allowed to use their own stuff. It should be an optional thing. You can use this story support, and we'll even have bonus stuff if you do use them. So you know, it can be more immersive for people that like that. Ooh, a spook. Marie. Huh. I'll spell 6. Still hate Demeter with a passion. Demeter is a big... Do you actually pay attention to the mechanics of this fight? Have you actually read her abilities? Oh, there's Panda Lancer. Hello, enough. That's not my first copy of on this account. Interesting. Because people that refuse to actually read things or pay attention to specifically the order her effects go off. Like she has a set pattern. She doesn't really do things by random. So as long as you pay attention to that pattern, you should be in pretty good shape. As long as you bring the tools to deal with said pattern. Or what's this going to be? Which Lancer is another spook. Tomoe. Okay. I think we may have been in the market actually for a good single target buster archer on this account. The Koyan fight, that one's purely... That one is one that can be tricky, unless you have a non-humanoid servant available to you, which, to be fair, everyone should have, because you can just grab a support one if nothing else and they can just solo her. Oh yeah, Enkidu does work in that fight. Enkidu does work in most fights, to be honest. Enkidu and Ku, you throw them against Saber bosses. I mean, if your Ku's kitted out enough, for example, you can take on Camelot Gawain with him. It's that bonkers. We know this because Green has proven it. I recommend checking out his channel and giving that a watch. A lot of fun. What a bizarre roll. 3 4 stars. 2 spooks too. With triple rate up, getting spooks for 4 stars when there's 3 4 stars rated up is absurdly remote chance. How bonkers. But yeah, Enkidu's outstanding in that fight. Now that we have the Fairy Knights, Barghest actually just laughs her bum off in that fight. Like, she absolutely wrecks it. I don't think she could have been designed more perfectly to just destroy that battle. Oh, sure is some lovely buffs you got there. Shame if I just removed them by Buster spamming you. And then she can't really scratch her in retaliation. Then she just heals it up any bloody way. And then she MPs and gets even more HP. Barghest is incredible. Head pats for your Barghest, everybody. You can tell I'm really fond of servants that are really versatile and that you can use them in team fights, or they can be really creative solo fights as well. And she's one of those. Ku, Canis, Enkidu. Mordred can actually solo fairly well. I wish they'd give her. I wish they would give her a buff that gave her guts. Because lore-wise, she's supposed to have guts, and unfortunately, she doesn't in game. I feel like that would be really neat for her because they'd give her, because her 1-turn damage cut on her battery, or defense up. It's not a damage cut. It's a massive defense up. Is actually really stout, and she can actually survive like AOE MPs if she's counterclassing. Depending, unless the enemy's boosted pretty heavily. But if she had a guts as well, she'd actually be even better solo-wise. She'd be kind of like a Saber Canis, really. Which, to be fair, is kind of what they are with each other right now. Oh, Lakshmi Bai. Lakshmi Bai is amazing as well. Can't forget her. Ushi Binger. Naturally Heracles, that's an obvious one. Saber Canis would be a male form. Probably if they were. Yeah, I could see them doing that if they want to have another version of Canis in the game. That'd be perfectly fair. I think, speaking of other gender-bent forms and such, I think an interesting thing for them to be, apologies, this is a slight tangent, but sort of related. They need to make a bloody, Robin Hood focused event. They could come up with like a 5-star version of Robin Hood. They could even make it a lady if they want. So, okay, I was about to say because they think that those sell better, but in actuality, there's a ton of male servants that sell just as well, if not better, than most of the female ones as well. That is something that really the fan base itself has a huge misconception about. They just assume, oh yeah, they just spam out waifus because that's what sells the most. When in actuality, it's more the artists just like drawing ladies more. That's how it is a lot of the time. But yeah, you could have introduce some of the merry men. You could the sheriff of Rottingham. You could do a lot of really neat stuff with that. And who doesn't like Robin Hood? And lore-wise, it's perfectly fine because in Fate lore, at the very least, honestly in real life lore too, the it's like there's not just a Robin Hood. Robin Hood is like a title carried by different people. So it wouldn't be completely, it wouldn't be law breaking or something, but actually be perfectly natural for them to have different versions of Robin Hood himself, him or herself, because it could be a lady too. Now, with the Oberon thing, he definitely sold well. I would hesitate and caution a bit about giving him full credit for, because the way the numbers work for those things is they're monthly, and remember there was another Morgan banner up as well during that same month, so he definitely did do well. But also remember, a lot of that was also Morgan and the other fairy knights being rated up as well. And this was after the story at this point, where people just fell in love with him even more. It's kind of like with our bugger. Now I'm having a bit of a brain fart, unfortunately. There was another servant that people were trying to give credit to for selling, but is that okay? MP4. Now I'm matched with my quick account. Now I must feel like, well, what was the point of me rolling for on this account? Here's my AoE. But no, she's basically single target Lancer with splash damage, like I mentioned earlier, as opposed to full AoE. Now if she got an MP upgrade at some point, then yeah, boy, she'd really be bonkers then, honestly. I'm getting sidetracked again. What was I ranting about? It may have been yeah, I can't quite remember. There was MP5K in this or anything else. That would be funny, especially considering it's triple radar. But yeah, Oberon definitely sold a lot. A lot of them did. But yeah, they're just a bunch of female characters. That's because artists really like, male or female artists really like drawing the ladies. I mean, look at Wada Arco. She's a lady, and she's all about drawing some ladies as well. Pretty sure she has a shrine to Merlil's bum. Like most of you probably do too. I'm looking at you, I see you. Next year, okay, awesome. Yep, quite a bit next year in comparison. Yeah, she's a bloody legend. Speaking of Robin, she's the one that did the art for him, come to think of it. Alright, that one again. I've actually been in a bit... Oh, that's the first copy of that on here. Interesting. That Kratos in particular is really good on Castro Toria since it has the overcharge effect on it. And as it turns out, she has a really strong overcharge effect. Who would have guessed? That's kind of why she Marilyn and Morgan are so broken as a trio. So-called invincible con. Because you can basically just spam multiple stacks of the super invuln every turn. Yeah. And it's three times she gets extra overcharge for 2. Really good stuff. Oh, there's a first copy of this one as well. It's also not bad. Alright, enjoy your shower, mate. Thanks for this sub. Yeah, hopefully she comes along pretty quick because, again, really would like to save a lot of this for Malu Noru. Of course, thankfully I believe she's a ways away, so... But still, I did not want to go to Pity here. Because that would take a bad all of it, honestly, to do so. I would not appreciate that. Just think, if this game had Blue Archive's Spark system, there'd be none of this 900 Saint Quartz to reach Pity. It'd be 600, and then you could just bloody pick the thing. Plus you'd have triple, you'd have the same rate of 5 stars as we currently do 4 stars. Video on FGR is insane. It's definitely not the best one. It is good that at the very least it does keep somebody that's another spook rider. Oh no. Oh no. I mean, I'll definitely take her, but that could have been Koyanskaya. Okay. Just as a reminder, the... Well, we'll let this play first. You can tell she's one of the earlier servants because of how few lines she gets in her intro. So she's actually really good, as it turns out. She's a perfectly fine AoE, and this is Buster count, so AoE Buster Rider. Has some nice buffs on the way as well. MP upgrade is on top of that, so definitely don't dislike that. But as a reminder, when it comes to 5 stars, okay, so 4-star rate up is, if there's one 4-star rated up, here's the way it works. If RNGesus decides that you have rolled a 4-star servant, congratulations. The rate up means you have a 50% chance of it being the rate up 4-star. This is 50% chance it's going to be a spook. With 5 stars, originally it was 70% chance to get the rate up. But last year, I believe it was last year, for global at least, they buffed it to 80%. So basically there was an 80% chance that I missed right then. As spooks go, though, she isn't the worst one. She's a good servant that I didn't have, in a position I didn't have because I didn't have an AoE buster rider, and I can't really think of one right off that will be coming. Well, I guess there's Blackbeard, but if you have nothing else, he's workable. He's fine. I may be just completely drawing a blank though. It feels like I am. Although another copy of Enkidu would have been pretty neato as well, especially since it wants to throw lancers at us left and right. See, before, I believe I was talking about pity and how it is good that it keeps people from getting super mucked over if they're able to show some restraint and save up. I feel like that's a big thing. I definitely agree that this game has a really rough gotcha. It isn't as bad as others, though, the others that get praised for some bloody reason. Some that are strangely, absurdly popular right now, or have been for a while. You probably know of which ones I'm thinking of. But this one gets all that there. Well, there's MP5 Canis. Bloody hell. Where was Nostradamus in the chat? Where were you? I saw you earlier saying I was going to get MP5 Canis before. I really like Canis though, so that's fine. More coins too, that's the big one. Coins for 4 stars is a bloody nightmare. With limited or story locked, it's not as bad because it's 50 a pop instead of 30. But yeah, basically to comfortably get 2 A-pins with a limited or story locked 4-star, you need MP4. Otherwise, you have to go beyond 110 to get second A-pin. And for the kind of servants I really like, which are the ones that you in solo shenanigans with. Okay, for the average servant, generally you're okay if you get the second A-pin, the one for MP starting charge. But with the solo type servants, it's really nice to get their extra attack buff, so the first A-pin. And then occasionally if they have, say, the rare servant that actually gets their counter class for the third A-pin, or Berserker would be the third A-pins that you would want. You definitely don't want to get, like, say, I believe Sidonai, who's an alter ego, gets Saber as hers. You definitely wouldn't want that because she's already doing half damage to the bloody things. Sure, you're gonna cut that to 20% less damage, so 80% damage. But why? You shouldn't be using it against bloody sabers in the first place. Berserker's a really good one though because they hit really bloody hard and it's nice to make them explode quicker. Also, there's a particular fight in Lost Spell 6 that having more Berserker damage is really nice for. Who is this going to be? I wonder. I am not surprised in the slightest. There is 6. Do I hear 7? Do I hear 7? Cheeky. Come to think of it, despite this being the Buster account, I will raise Boudica eventually just because she does work really well with Roma. Definitely seems that way. Maybe. Maybe. Speaking of KNS, for any of you that have KNS, what ascension do you keep her on? I'm an Ascension 2 personally. I've never been very fond of gold. It looks kind of gaudy to me. Between gold and silver, give me silver anytime. I just think it looks much more appealing, like clean, I suppose. So I definitely don't have her in the third Ascension with that gaudy gold armor. Ah, Alsiko. She's another one that's really good. She's good in a team. She's really good solo. A lot of people undersell her because they don't understand how to play with her third skill properly. She removes her own buffs. That's terrible. She also heals a massive chunk of HP. And here's the thing, the way her cooldowns work, generally, by the time you need to use her heal, her buffs would have worn off. Her self buffs would have worn off. And then you use that heal, then pop her buffs again, and then Bob's your uncle. You're good to go. Also, her MP is outstanding. People really often undersell crit down, inflicting crit down on enemies, how impactful that is. Because besides their MP, which she has her own evade, you should have Atlas Mystic card as well, so that's two levels of hard survival right there for getting past MPs. So how's the boss going to kill you? Well, they're going to crit you to death most likely. But if you hit them with their MP twice, they can't crit. It's over. Their crits are turned off. That was a min roll. Because each time you hit it with their MP, it's 50% 50% crit chance down. So, you know, 2 stacks of that. Turn out the lights, the party's over. Fun stuff, really. I haven't seen that craft essence in a long time. What does it even do? I think it's triple card color out, like 8%, 8 or 10%, depending on MLB. Has that removed in JP? Actually, can't recall. Ah, it's the worst servant in the game. Who has the great honor of being a servant that got a buff that actually made him worse. Spectacular, truly. Boy, that was an infuriating buff they gave him. Holy cow. Hey, let's give him his MP quicker. Just so so he can die that much quicker, so you can get to his servant. I think that's a second copy of that. We are really having poor luck on getting that craft distance on this account for as much as we've rolled. Watch me end up just like the main account with 4 copies of it. Might cry. I forget, was Jinaka on the... I believe you could pick her off with your SSR ticket. Well, not so much ticket, but free SSR. remember people were pretty upset when last year's one. Wait, was it last year? I guess it was last year's for the 20 million download campaign, because it didn't have any of the story locked 5 stars available. It only had the general pool, and it didn't have any that had been released since like Lost Belts. So people were kind of upset about that. They fixed that though for the permanent one that we were getting now, where they added Seedonai and Jinakor and Mev and Fanfiction Coup, and that might be it. Maybe. It is sad that I don't think they have Europa. Or maybe Europa's the... No, they do have Europa. She's the last one that was included. So they don't have a DCS and they don't have Vritra. Which is a shame, because Odysseus and Vritra are both really good. I dare say quite underrated. Next year though, we get Odysseus Fest. And then he'll get some shine then. Europa's an interesting one because they actually fixed this on the global with the way they did the banners. But in JP, when Olympus came out, Europa was released and had her raid up prior to Olympus. So prior to her appearance in the story. So people were like, well, who is she? We don't know her. So obviously, no one rolled for her. They didn't have a reason to. But then after Olympus, people were like, oh, I kind of like her now. And that would have been the time to raid her up. They learned this lesson with Lost Belt 6, where they kept bringing Morgan and the Fairy Knights back. They were like, oh yeah, they're gonna love and they're gonna want these characters. So that's why they brought them back after the story was completed. Jekyll again. I am really going to have to go to pity, aren't I? This is pain. Pecco. But yeah, they seem to have learned a lesson in that regard. They definitely, I mean, again, they fixed it in global. They reversed the banners, or they swapped which banner Europa was on to the latter one. I believe they switched places with Achilles. He's still the assassin, is I can say this. Well, it would only be hoped if it was a double-sided silver assassin. Oh yeah, for anyone that doesn't know, you can always tell when a silver card is going to flash and turn gold if it's double-sided, if the back is sort of see-through. It doesn't quite look like a regular summon. So that's pretty neat. So you see how like the back of that was really solid. Well, if this was going to spark and turn into a gold berserker, then you would be able to see the berserker picture from both sides. Cheeky game, it thought I meant that I wanted another berserker in a row. That is the wrong Roma. No, no, only the double-sided ones can turn gold. It's possible there was a visual bug or something, but but it is supposed to be that it's only the double-sided ones that will flash and turn gold. That's the intent, the way it's intended. But you know, spaghetti code. So maybe something goes awry every now and then. Serenity, how tragic she is. She's not terrible. Her issue is there's a concept there that's really interesting of playing around poison and getting bonus poison damage and stuff. But for some reason, they haven't quite went all the way with her. And Asuko's a thing, and she's just better than her in every way. She just stomps her gameplay wise. It's really not even close. Like seriously, you throw some Grails on Asuko, and she's going toe to toe with a lot of the better 5-star assassins as well. And then they turn around and come out with Locusta in JP, who, that was number 3, who's everything Serenity. People that like Serenity hope that Serenity would have been, with a really interesting poison-based playstyle. Speaking of fancy rolling shenanigans, there's actually, I'm not sure if anyone's aware, but there's different kind of sparks. So down here at the bottom, there could be a gold spark, or there could be a rainbow spark. Now, rainbow spark is guaranteed 5-star. It's okay. There's a 5-star, not necessarily the rated up one. See, here's a gold one. Wow, how about that? The gold one's interesting is because, while mostly, do I hear 8? While mostly a gold spark is going to be a 4-star, it can be a 5-star. Whereas rainbows are always 5-star. That got removed recently in JP. I actually have not looked at the replacements for it. So I'm not sure if they replaced it with a better version or not. It's actually, if you're starting out and you just don't have a lot of Krelthesses to choose from, it's not terrible. Just slap on something. Not too much use in an established account there, unfortunately. Good old Asuko. Alright. 100 Faces is who I'm talking about when I say Asuko, by the way. Apparently that... Oh, can it be? Okay. We did not have to go to Pity. We had to get bloody close, but not quite. Mercifully, she has arrived. And sure enough, there's number 4. Bloody hell. Actually trolling me. Can't believe we got 7 copies of Gamers. We didn't get a... Did we get a single Valkyrie on this account? No, we got 1. Right? Would have been funny if there would have been a gold sparkler. Now to see if this account has the mats needed to actually skill her up. I'm actually not certain what my crystal law situation is on this account.
NFF サービス代表玉もビッチ小安塚や光ここに参上いたしました。なんで来た？相入れない敵同士のはず。それはまさしく。私もそこは永遠に忘れませんが、今回は少しだけ予定の前倒し。未来からやってきた万能美人秘書型バニーということで、毒を持って毒を制す、そういうのお好きでしょう。
Now contrast that introductory dialogue with the one Drake got. Do you see my point between a year one servant versus current one in the love they give him in the writing? Oh, that hurts me. Oh well. It is done mercifully. Okay, let's go straight to her skills first off, because I'm actually quite concerned about Jeepers. We got. Wait. Maybe we didn't get a Valkyrie on this account. Watch me scroll past it because I'm not blind. Yeah. I was about to. Oh, that's not spectacular. I'm actually probably going to be a bit lower in QP. Okay, we're going to have to definitely use some Peter Prisms because I obviously will have... Okay, I should have enough gunpowder. Yeah, it's gunpowder, not bullets, even though... Yeah, I'll have to rectify that. What did I use my... What did I use my gold cookies on? Camilla. Maybe. Need a lottery. That's what I need. Alrighty. Just hope I haven't gotten into these yet. 80. I'll take those. That's so big deal, but... Yeah, thanks for watching, mate. Take care. Definitely done with the summons for now. When is the next time I summon? It will either be... Probably for Darman or Von Hof, depending on which one's first. Because I'm pretty sure they both come before Mao Nobu does. Which is good because obviously this account needs some time to recoup rolls. Of course I do have some more chords saved up. I haven't done Hey and Cure yet on this account. I've done it on all the others, well except the spare account. I'm still in Camelot on that bloody account. I must need to do logins on it. But So there's that, and then Lost Belt 6, of course. So that's, that's a decent bit. That'll get us about, I guess, on up around 400 again. It's not terrible. Then we have a bit. I just have to hope for a lot better luck rolling for Nobu now than we got here.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get back to skilling her, making sure that I'm good on that. Okay. Now, how's our laws? You bugger. That's fine though, because her middle skill is not the highest priorities. So I can just 10, 9, 10 her. I'm obviously not going to fully raise her on stream though, because I'm going to have to do some QP dailies and such as well. Probably. To be able to afford everything. I will go ahead and do this. B5 and 2 left over. Would I want to keep an MP2 copy for shenanigans? I'm leaning towards no, because I could probably use rare. How many rare prisms do I even have on this account? I have 6.
ではどうぞレアものだね。任せて。これがいいかな。それとも
This is a huge waste, but I am tempted to do it.
たっぷり悩んでくれたまえ。
But there's no need. Events will be coming along.
私も張り合いがあるってものさ。
Already got these, didn't I? Alrighty. I reckon that's enough. Oh, incidentally, if you were curious what I use my free GSSR on, I got MP2 and Kidu. On my main account, I got MP3 Mordred. On my arts account, I'm going to get Tamamo. Boy, you talk about bad luck. I've rolled for her twice on that account and still haven't gotten her. And I know if I use this, so I was hoping to get it, and then I could MP2 Ozymandias with it, or get another copy of Seed and I maybe. But Lady Luck was not smiling on me when it came to the fluffy tail rolls. So I fully expect the very next time I roll on my arts account to be spooked by the Talmo after I take it out. And then quick account's going to get Achilles, because there's really no other option for quick account. Jack is there, but I already have Karma. And Bradamante, like, unfortunately, she's not spectacular. She hits like a wet noodle, and her kit just doesn't really make up for it in any way. It's quite sad too. She's a cute enough character. In fact, it's actually really annoying that the Charlemagne's Paladins have been featured in a couple events fairly recently in JP, and they did nothing with it. They had the opportunity to give. That would have been the perfect excuse, because they had this weird thing with no matter how bad a servant needs a buff, or an animation update. Or you talk about animation updates. Jean and Jolter still have their day one animations. That is ludicrous. Jolter is one of these servants that has single-handedly gave them the most money, and she has super janky, horrid animations. It's so weird. But anyway, they had lots of chances to get Bradamante above, and they haven't done it. In fact, they came out with Britomart, who's also not spectacular, but she's just better Bradamante. Because she hits pretty hard, she can actually loop, she has a better kit, she's just better Bradamante. And that's really a shame. But alright, I think I've ranted enough for today. Stubborn fox bunny this, but we got her. So hopefully we can have some better luck with Nobu Mao when she comes along in November, October, whenever Gouda Gouda happens to come back around. But I think that'll wrap up this stream, so thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and see you next time.